If a Muslim forgets saying Bismillah at the time of slaughtering, so meat will be halal. But if a Muslim leaves intentionally saying Bismillah, then meat won't be halal. When the slaughtering meat, zabiha will be considered completely halal. So slaughtering will be considered completely halal when 3 out of 4 iotas will be cut completely. There are 4 iotas. One is called hulqum, it's an Arabic word, and the second way is mari, and the third and fourth is wijdan. If 3 out of 4 would be cut completely, then zabiha meat slaughtering will be considered completely halal. If less than 3, then the zabiha slaughtering meat won't be considered completely halal. There is a different way to slaughter a camel. A camel is not slaughtered the way the other animals are slaughtered. It's called in Arabic nahr. So the way of slaughtering a camel is the front left leg should be tied, and then slaughter a camel with a spear, a weapon with a pointed tip, so that all the vessels are cut and the flowing blood can flow. Although a camel is slaughtered like buffalo, then it's also okay, but it's against the best way. If you are amazed to know this information right now, you should search on YouTube. You will get to know all the details in a better way. Women are also permitted to slaughter the animal. In the same way, a mature child is also permitted to slaughter the animal if he is able to slaughter the animal with the name of Allah. In the same way, a deaf Muslim, a mute Muslim is also permitted to slaughter the animal, and in the same way, the transvestite, the mukhannas, it's called in Arabic mukhannas, is also permitted to slaughter the animal. What is the best way of using the Qurbani meat? So if the meat is from Qurbani animal, should be distributed in 3 parts. One should be given to the poor and the beggars, and the second portion should be given to the friend circle, the relatives, the loved ones, and the third one is for the performer. And if the performer keeps all the meat for himself only, then it's also okay, permissible, but it's against the best way. And if all the meat performer donates, then it's also okay. The meat from the Qurbani animal can be given to the non-Muslim as well. And if the performer makes all the meat from the Qurbani animal for the walima, then it's also permissible. What's the usage of the skin of the animal? So there are 3 usages. One of them is he should donate it, and it's the best way. And the second thing is he can give it to others as well as a gift. And the third thing is he can keep for himself as well if he knows how to use it. But he can't sell it. If he sells it, he has to do sadaqah. He has to donate it. He has to donate the amount that he got from selling it. The payment, the wage, is given to the butcher from the skin and from the meat of the Qurbani animal is not permissible. The payment should be given to the butcher from the other side. It's obligatory for every imam, muqtadi, the follower, the man and the woman, the munfarid who performs alone, to read takbir tashriq, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd, after every farz salah from Fajr of 9 Dhul Hijjah to Asr of 13 Dhul Hijjah. It's obligatory for a masbook as well to read takbir tashriq. The masbook is who missed some rakaz. If a person from one country wants to get his animal slaughtered in the other country, so which time will be followed? So in the time of slaughtering, the place and the area of animal will be followed, but in the dates of slaughtering, the place and the area of the person who wants to get his animal slaughtered will be followed. So see, here the things are very complicated. If I get into it, so the video will be too long and it's not possible for everyone to understand. That's why I think I should quit every ins and out of the issue here, and I should come to the point directly and I tell you the issue. But if anyone wants to read it completely and wants to understand every ins and out of the issue, so I list the reference in the end of the video or in the description, you can read it. Here I should tell you the issue direct. So the issue is, if a person from one country wants to get his animal slaughtered in the other country, so which time will be followed? So see, here will be two things. Either the time will be earlier or the time will be later. Let's take an example. If a person from Saudi Arab wants to get his animal slaughtered in India, so the India time will be followed, because the precondition of Qurbani, the precondition of slaughtering is not found, that's why. But if a person from India wants to get his animal slaughtered in Saudi Arab, so even though here as well the India time will be followed, because the reason of obligation is not found. There is a difference between the poor person and rich person in the issue of Qurbani. Some can argue there is a discrimination in the Islam as well. So actually it's not a discrimination. Actually there is a difference because of the reason of the obligation. It's obligatory for a rich person to give Qurbani because of his wealth. But it's not obligatory for a poor person to give Qurbani. But the poor person is saying that everyone is doing that. That's why the enthusiasm, the energy is popping up. That's why I want to do that as well. So now see, it's obligatory for a rich person to give Qurbani because of his wealth. So he can slaughter any animal, but it's not obligatory for a poor person to give Qurbani. But if he has bought the animal, so now it's obligatory for a poor person to give Qurbani because of his buying. Now see, in how many things the difference would be. If a rich person loses his animal, he has to buy again and slaughter. But it's not obligatory for a poor person to buy again and slaughter. If an Qurbani animal of a rich person dies, he has to buy again and slaughter, but it's not obligatory for a poor person to buy again and slaughter. If a Qurbani animal of a rich person has given birth a new baby, he does not need to slaughter the new baby as well. But if the Qurbani animal of a poor person has given birth a new baby, it's a nazar for him. So that's why he has to slaughter the new baby as well, and all the meat of the new baby he has to donate, because it's a nazar for him. And the nazar issue is all the nazar assets is donated. That's why he has to slaughter the new baby and he has to donate all the meat of the new baby. If a rich person wants to change his Qurbani animal from one to another, he can change. You know why? Because the rich person has to slaughter any animal, but the poor person has to slaughter the particular animal. That's why if the poor person wants to change his Qurbani animal from one to another, he can't change. But the rich person wants to change from one to another, he can change. The biggest difference appears here. If the missing animal is found of a rich person, so if either he has bought the new one or he hasn't bought the new one, it does not make any difference for him. He has to slaughter only one animal, and it can be anyone, because it's obligatory for him to slaughter only one animal, and because of his wealth, not because of his buying. But if the missing animal of a poor person is found, so So if he hasn't bought the new one till now, so there is nothing to say, only one animal he has to slaughter. But if he has bought the new one as well and the previous one also came, so now it's obligatory for him to slaughter both of them. You know why? The first thing is, Sharia was not telling him to buy and slaughter, but he has bought once and he has lost as well. And Sharia was telling him now not to buy and not to slaughter, but now he was saying the energy, the enthusiasm is popping up the most because of seeing hither and thither. Everyone is seeing, everyone is doing that. That's why I will also do that. So now he has bought again. So now it's obligatory for him to slaughter both of them, because you know what, because of why? Because of buying. It's obligatory for him to slaughter both of them because of buying, not because of his wealth. So the more time he will buy, the more animal he will have to slaughter, because it's obligatory for a rich person to slaughter because of his wealth, not because of his buying, but it's obligatory for him to slaughter the animal because of his buying, not because of his wealth. So the more time he will buy, the more time he will have to slaughter. It's just like a Nafil Salah. Nafil Salah is not obligatory for anyone, but a person started Nafil Salah and did not complete, so now it's obligatory for him to complete 2 rakat Nafil Salah. And again he started Nafil Salah and did not complete, so the more time he will start the Nafil Salah, the more time he will have to complete the Nafil Salah. Now it's obligatory, now it become obligatory for him to complete the Nafil Salah. So the same rule applies here as well. The more time he will do that, the more time he will have to do that. If Qurbani was wajib for a person and he didn't do, so now he can't participate in a big animal like cow, camel, bull and buffalo. Now he has to donate the amount of a goat, ram and sheep. All the shareholders in one big animal need to make the intention of Qurbani, Walima or Aqiqah. If anyone makes the intention apart from it, like selling in the shop, etc., slaughtering won't be permissible for anyone.